Good morning. I want to talk to you about. I've been doing these kind of reflections and highlights, and this was inspired by Ryan Holiday. And one of the things that it was a video he had about journaling, and he's big into stoicism, and so I think it's important to have these things that you want to remember for the day. And so that's what I kind of use my highlights for, just kind of things that happen. Maybe they're important, maybe they're not, but I just kind of jot them down, maybe one sentence, maybe a few words about different things that happen throughout the day. And then the other side is reflections, and I just have it in my journal. One side is highlights, one side is reflections, and I typically make a page in my journal after my morning pages. So I have 3 pages of my morning pages, which is from Julia Cameron's Artist Way. And so I do my 3 morning pages, and then the next 2 pages are reflections and highlights. And so I want to share with you some reflections that I have had, and I hope they'll be helpful for you. I think it's important that at the end of every day that we have something that we can capture, things that we've learned, things that we can share with other people, things that we realize as we become more self-aware for ourselves, things that we need to deal with or handle or say or not say. So just some things to be thinking about. So this is my reflections. This is one day of reflections. It says, the thing with people, you are going to have challenges. The thing with people, you're going to have challenges. You just work through them. And so sometimes I think we're so quick to throw people away. We're so quick to say, it's not worth it. It's not worth my mind. It's just not worth it. And so it is important to realize that with every person that we meet, they're meant to teach us a lesson. They're meant to show us something. And I believe it's something about ourselves, something that could be to be more compassionate about. And oftentimes the things that we don't like in somebody else is the stuff in ourselves that we refuse to deal with, that we refuse to handle, that we refuse to figure out how do I change this. And so I was talking to this lady, and she was saying that, a mature lady, right? She was over 60, and she was saying that if you don't like the way that I am, then just don't come around me. I'm going to be this way. I'm going to stay the same. I'm not going to change. And I thought, wow. At the age of 60, let's say 60, she's over 60, but at the age of 60, this is your attitude. And I get it, because I realize that the older we get, the more likely we are to be stuck in our ways. But how awful it is that we stop growing, that we say we are going to stay the same, that you can deal with it or you can leave. And I think, wow, what if every person in the whole world said, I'm going to stay the same, you can just deal with it. And I'm talking about me, have these nasty ways, these nasty attitudes, these triggers that make me behave in a way that is unbecoming. All these things that I say and do that's wrong, and I want to stay this way. I want to stay toxic. I want to stay mean. No, every day I want to be better. Every day I want to be extending God's love. I want to be extending forgiveness. I want to get along well with God's people, with people in general. I want to do my best. I want to show up as my best. I don't never want to be the same. Every day I want to be better. And I thought about how she was 10 toes down, like she was serious. And I was thinking, wow, the older we get, we ought to be wiser. We ought to be better. We ought to want to set an example for our children and our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, who don't necessarily listen to what we say. They do what we do. They take their cues from what we do, the silence, the ways we behave, the anger, the temper tantrum, the silent temper tantrums that we have. And I thought, wow, to be responsible for 20 or 30 people who every single day depend on you to show up and be your best. You've decided that you're going to stay the same. And for me, I'm 50 and I don't want to stay the same. Every day I want to be getting better. And it is a test, right? That we are going to have challenges. We got to be able to deal with people. And it made me think about, none of us are perfect, but every day we have got to get better. We've got to learn how to deal with people better. We got to be more forgiving, more compassionate towards people. And so I'm always mindful that there is a story of somebody that has not been told. There's a story before this person I meet. There's a story that has not been told. I only know what I know. I don't know the whole story. And so we're the way we are because there's a story that's to be told, right? There's things that have happened, there's experiences, and so without knowing that, you don't know why somebody is the way they are. And so you have to learn how to listen. And I've learned you gotta pray, right? Everything you can't address, some stuff you can't say because it's not your place to say, it's not the time, all the different things. And so, but it really made me think about that day that we are going to have challenges with people. And we've got to, instead of throwing people away, we've got to learn how to handle conflict. We've got to learn how to deal with people every single day. And the second lesson for a reflection for the day was the most terrifying and beautiful thing at the same time is someone sees me in my mess and they still love me. They still support me. They still encourage me. And this was a personal reflection, this personal lesson for myself, is to have as many people who love me the way that I am. And I am a mess. I have issues that I need to deal with. I have challenges that I'm dealing with. Life is lifing, right? Days are hard. People are hard to deal with. It makes me kind of hard sometimes. And even though I am this way, people still love me. People are still there. People are still supporting me. People are still encouraging me while I work through this mess, this life that, just wanting to get better, that wanting to do better. And so these are my two reflections for today. I hope they'll be helpful. I hope you can see how maybe you can help yourself these things are helping me to continue to grow, to continue to change, to continue to get better.